Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Forlight Podcast, a weekly show of gaming, gaming news, and all things entertainment related. I'm your host, Ethan, alongside my co-hosts.
I'm Leighton.
And I'm Aiden.
So, just a little bit of housekeeping. As always, you can find us anywhere you stream podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, some other places, but really, like, anywhere you search for podcasts. If you would like to catch us not live as we are right now, and you are not joining our beautiful Twitch followers who are listening to us right now, you can find us hopefully every Saturday. We don't really know though because editor Aiden it's kind of slow. Finishing up our housekeeping. It's not really gonna apply until next year, but just keeping our chat interaction down. Honestly, we probably will just keep we'll say something that comes into the chat if it's correlating to the topic, but hopefully we will get a couple in-person podcasts before the summer ends and we're back at school, but no promises on that. But yeah. So today I wanted to return back to the podcast that we released most recently, which I mean, I guess there's one going to be coming up soon, but the Breaking the Mold. Fuck, I can't go through because I'm talking and my eyes are going right down to the frog in the bottom right, and I just can't. Leighton has a little plastic frog that he just puts on screen for legitimately.
Oh no, it's not plastic. It's ceramic. It's real.
Oh my god. It's it's a thing of the beginning of the podcast now. I've gone back and you just put it for like 2 seconds in the screen and then you take it off. But going back to our kind of Breaking the Mold podcast and topic that we talked about before, I wasn't here, so I wasn't really able to chime in on some of the conversations that you guys were having. But I found it really interesting where Aiden and David both felt that currently they weren't seeing any games that were breaking the mold, and they didn't think that, at least for the foreseeable future, there were going to be any games coming out that were going to break the mold. And honestly, going into that conversation, kind of thinking about it a little more, I kind of correlated it to the fact that I don't think big companies dare to make their risks anymore, and that's why we don't see any new IPs. I think it costs companies a shit ton of money to release something like Redfall and for it to get doo-dooed on. And
yeah,
I mean, you get a lot of press, but you don't get good press. That's kind of the thing.
I don't know what happened with Redfall. That's a conversation for people who are having interviews with the devs because
and yeah. It was weird as well because I mean, coming up with Starfield and stuff like that, I've been playing Fallout 76 with my friend Nick, and that game got review bombed almost completely similar to Redfall in the way that it was. And it's got me a little bit of concern for Starfield. I mean, I watched this amazing direct recently, but it's just still a little bit of dropped add-in is kind of scaring me a little bit, but I don't know. But honestly, I wanted a take on you guys of or at least asking Aiden specifically this, and then you can probably jump off this. And do you think that the reason why you want new they're directly tied to your love of indie games? That's what I meant. Do you think that breaking the mold aspect is really only tied to indie games, or do you see it as AAA IPs as well?
Well, the breaking the mold is not obviously exclusive to indie games.
Yeah.
Dark Souls came from fucking somewhere. That's a AAA company. FromSoft is a AAA company. And it definitely broke the mold when it first came out. So it's not like AAA are incapable of doing it. But indie devs tend to lead more on the side of artistic representation, regardless of what the game actually is, over making money. And the making money leads to safe decisions. So the new Call of Duty game every year. Activision Blizzard hasn't made a new IP in a decade.
Yeah,
I think the last one was fucking Heroes of the Storm, and even that was just Overwatch characters.
Is Diablo Activision?
Yeah, it's Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard. It's the same. It's
Okay. I mean, I think it's so interesting to me though that like I mean I loved the aspect that you guys chimed in with the sequel thing where it's just like I didn't really think about it, but there are so many games that are just directly tied to a franchise that's already been really hyped up.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know where we're gonna see something. I mean, South of Midnight, maybe we saw that.
yeah. No,
I mean,
that company. I forget what the company name is, but they made like We Happy Few and
hold on, I can look it up.
like
We
stuff like
Happy
that.
Few was different. That
Yeah,
was
no,
not a game
they
we'd
are not
seen before.
afraid. They are not afraid of like putting it out there. So
Compulsion
Yeah.
Games.
mm,
That's what.
I think one thing we kind of failed to do very well in the last episode on this topic was kind of define what breaking the mold is a little bit more
Yeah.
like grounded, because we kind of just kept saying breaking the mold and we didn't exactly explain it. You know what I mean? So why don't
Do
we
you
do that
have an
first?
explanation?
I'll let Ian go ahead because
We
I'm
can
not.
bounce. Yeah.
I was not going to talk
I
about the definition.
No, you're good. You're good. I think honestly, I mean, we'll start with you there, but just real quick, I think we all have different definitions of what breaking the mold is, if I'm perfectly honest. But Aiden,
I
what
agree.
did you want to say?
Oh, I was just going to thank Homeless Kami for subscribing.
Oh, actually,
And
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I will mention we are going to do more magic stuff. Mostly
No, we
when
will.
mostly when we
Hey,
get
look at
back
this.
to school, because we're like all over
It's
the place
Magic. Magic.
we actually what you.
Magic.
Oh my god, Leighton, shut up. I think honestly, you guys will see like the new Lord of the Rings set dropped, and David really wanted to talk about that. So you might see some content next week on that. And then we have been kind of correlating in the group of whether or not we might buy a box and then sit down, record us opening them. So that's just
Which would
something to
be
look out for.
fun.
I'm kind of bad on keeping social media updated, which again, that's something we're going to be changing next year, but we'll get to that. We don't need to think
Yeah,
about that right now,
that's
you know?
that's tomorrow's me's problem, not
Yeah,
today's
yeah.
me's.
We should
But
also stream Here to Slay.
You should
ooh,
stream
yeah,
Here
no,
to Slay.
yeah. What? You don't want to stream Here to Slay? You
Oh
silly little
wait,
goober?
no, I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of video
You're
games.
so silly.
I forgot
Actually,
that it was a board. I forgot it was a board game. Oh,
talking
you
about
bought
that,
it?
it was right under my computer.
You bought it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
he bought
I'm
it.
gonna buy the expansion as well.
That's
Yeah.
sick. We should also get Catan.
Um,
Different conversation though.
I do want to get
No,
but
I do
David,
think we should.
not David. Aiden, what do you think is your definition for breaking the mold? Do you have one? If you can spout it up.
Well, it's just a game that really puts it out there and does something different than what we've ever seen before.
So a game that
Okay.
presents something different.
Something completely new. Like I wouldn't even call like
do you
Hollow
mean-
Knight breaking the mold, because it's just
Do you mean,
another
like-
platformer fighter.
Okay, so do you mean like gameplay wise? Do you mean
Could be
like,
gameplay or like a super impactful story, or like hell, like Dark Souls introduced a whole genre.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
something that
I
had
think we
a
honestly though.
impact
I think-
that was like super, not necessarily super well received, at least maybe not in the beginning. If it flopped, it doesn't matter because it made no impact.
Yeah.
But like something that hit and hit hard with something new that people haven't seen before.
Dead by
Yeah.
Daylight? Did they do that?
Actually, no, I think, I mean, it followed the kind of like horror multiplayer esque, but I think so. Where I saw last episode, and I'll go to Leighton after this, is that personally my definition is I kind of blur the lines a little bit. My breaking the mold, and this again, I do think breaking the mold also ties to us as people, as gamers, and like what we enjoy. A gamer like David or Aiden they are much more tied to the indie experience, and so they're more likely to see somebody who's been working on a project that's completely different and nullified to any other corporation. I don't think that's the right word, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But like something like me, like personally, I think breaking the mold, or like a game example breaking the mold, would be something like Starfield that we're going to talk about 100% later. But Starfield could like 100% be compared to No Man's Sky in the aspect of like a generated space area, and or any of their Bethesda games that they've worked on before with the RPG style. But I still think that game's going to break the mold in the sense of the experience that you're going to have is going to be completely different than any experience that you've had in prior Bethesda games, or any other game for that matter. And I think maybe that's where I define it, is the experience.
The experience.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was no, go ahead, continue.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I was just gonna say that as far as I'm concerned, I think that breaking the mold, I think I agree with both of you here. I think what we're breaking the mold is, doing something completely different, something new, something people haven't seen before, whether it's a new art style, whether it's a new gameplay kind like feeling, whether it's a new like story or new experience. I think it's all correct. Although what I think is the kind of games we talked about in our previous discussion on this, we're not breaking the mold, but rather breaking the it's like the standard. Do you know what I mean? Because breaking the mold and breaking the standard are two different things. Like breaking the mold is Dark Souls, creating a whole new genre, a whole new feeling, a whole new way to do a story for a game.
That's actually
whereas breaking the standard. In fact, I might even switch the definitions. I think what you guys are talking about is breaking the standard. Breaking the mold would be what we were talking about, where it's a game that gains a crap ton of popularity. Maybe it didn't do something new originally, but it gains a huge following and creates an entire set of like expanding stuff coming out of it from other like locations and new creators drawing from that. Like FNAF is both a breaking the mold and a breaking the standard. Breaking the standard because it was a different kind of game. It was a jump scare horror game. Broke the mold because the games at the time it gained a huge following and created an entire like area behind, like an entire group of people, entire new system of games, like different like fan art, bunch of stuff like that. Creative design kind of flowed in that direction. So I think what we are talking about are two different things, and we didn't kind of set that line last time.
Right. I think filling, like, legitimately the definition of like a mold of like filling like cement into a square block or something. I think the standard is that they're like, or not standard, sorry. The mold is that there's structure there, that there's something that somebody built before and a game kind of came off of it and did something similar with it. I think David and Aiden were both kind of more rigid in the sense of like, I mean, and I also wouldn't say something like a new COD campaign is breaking the mold. Like, sure, that, like how I said it, like the experience is going to be different. I don't think that's breaking the mold, though. I think the sense of experience is more tied to like gameplay loops and like plot and specific things that they're going to be doing that are like something you've never, like Sekiro, for example. Like, I've never seen a game that ties so quickly to like the I'm sitting and I'm waiting and I'm watching, and then the parry is just so clean. Like that had never come out before. A game like that, or at least something that gained traction. I think we probably were a little bit wrong in other senses. Like, there's probably somebody out there who's made something similar, but it never actually jumped past like the line.
And that's what I'm saying is
who published that? Ironically, Activision.
Crazy that works.
What?
Sekiro.
They published it. They didn't produce it. They published it.
They published Sekiro.
They didn't develop.
That's crazy.
It, I didn't know.
Also, I'm just saying.
But
I just I beat Guardian Ape third try. I beat him just because I'm doing another playthrough. I beat him, put down the controller, looked at my screen, and went, "Why did I struggle so hard?" And then just kind of like kept playing.
No, but so
Couldn't
I
be
think what I think I'm missing the correct vernacular for what I'm trying to say is because again, what we're talking about is like there's two different things. We're talking about one games that on one side games that do something completely different, do something new, something like Fortnite making the battle pass system versus the popularity and the explosion of Fortnite, like the difference there. I'm trying to come up with a word for like a way to describe the explosion of popularity and the fan bases and the creation based off of that popularity versus the breaking the mold. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to fit a word I'm trying to fit a word or something to call that. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think we defined that well enough in our last podcast.
And I think, like, honestly, I did enjoy, like I've said, I just really enjoyed the conversation that you guys had.
Yeah.
Because it was thorough. Like, you guys went through games, and though, like, there were certain parts where I legitimately was like, no, that's wrong. That's so fucking wrong. No way. But like, I was laughing at the same part, and I think that it's such an interesting topic because of where the market is right now of games and what people are looking for. Because like, especially with like Tears of the Kingdom, is like Tears of the Kingdom, when Breath of the Wild dropped and I had finished Breath of the Wild, I remember legitimately thinking right after, I want more. Where's more? Give me more. And then waiting like 5 years. No, has it been 5 years?
I have no idea.
Maybe 6. I think it released in 2017. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
That is nuts.
But waiting 6 years to get the experience that we have now, and then a lot of people would say it's just DLC. It's just same content. But to me, like, especially with the time warp stuff and the ascendability, just the abilities alone, like, this game completely like retconned what I thought beforehand of what a Zelda game could be.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just like, I wonder where the market's gonna go, especially like what did you guys say? Skyrim 6, or no, that's not the
Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6. Sorry, my bad. But like what you said of like eventually there's gonna be a point where Elder Scrolls comes out and people are not gonna be looking for it anymore. They're gonna be like, homie, this is old news. Like, we do not give a shit. Like, we want something new.
Bethesda needs to get on their game because they are. I'm not gonna lie. They don't. Okay, maybe they do. I don't know how in depth this game is going to be, but maybe they need 25 years to make Starfield. Like, maybe they need it. I don't know. All I know is that as soon as they're done with Starfield, as soon as that shit is done and they're done with that project, they need to like get on Elder Scrolls 6 because if it takes them another 25 years, people aren't going to care anymore.
Yeah.
They need to start speeding up the process. All of these publishers and all of these big AAA publishers need to focus more on their development teams. That's what I think, because the AAA development teams are always, or not always, most of the time are releasing bangers. Like, again, it's the difference between the Bethesda publishing team and the Redfall and the Bethesda development team, Skyrim. Literally, then again, we have stuff like Fallout 76, which it got a lot of hate. But I think the reason it did is because at that point they were switching from like their focus from development. Although I'm not going to say that they didn't like obviously put time and effort into it. I'm saying that the company as a whole were kind of switching their focus from development to publishing because you saw a lot more Bethesda publishing stuff than you did see development following the release of 76.
And I think like it might be perspective of like playing 76 recently. But so a little backstory for you guys. I have a deal set up with my friend Nick where basically I had a conversation with him and I was like, dude, you tell me all the time that, because we were talking about Starfield, and he dogs on any game that I like if it has a correlation to a bad game. Like, he legitimately will just sit there and shit talk it for like hours. And it's so annoying sometimes, because sometimes I don't want the facts. I don't want to be reminded that Bethesda could literally throw this game in the trash, okay? I want to have my hopeful little self and like sit back and just enjoy the fact that Starfield may be good. And so I'm sitting with him and I was like, I just brought up the aspect. I was like, dude, you always do this. Like, I dare you to try something that flopped before and that has come back and it's good. And so we go through the games. I'm like, No Man's Sky, he's already played. Redfall, even I was like, nah, it's not worth doing that right now. But Fallout 76 came up, and since some of the updates that came out, I was like, this could be viable. And Nick, my friend, quite literally despises Fallout 76. It is the one game in any conversation that you can mention, and he'll immediately like recoil with like a, oh god, gross. And it's just, so I basically was like, I dare you to play this game with me, try it out, I believe it's good. And he was like, if I play it with you and it's good, I will give you $50, a firm handshake, and a recording saying I was wrong. And I was like, we're making that bet right now.
Coming from Nick.
That's worth its weight in gold.
Forget the $50. Like, you just need the confirmation. You just need that video recording.
Yeah, that shit will never die.
I'm gathering it like Infinity Stones because I already have a voice recording of him saying he was wrong one time. So now I just gotta keep going. I gotta get more like times wrong so I can just play it back. But I think what was really interesting about 76 is that I go and I play it, and though it is not perfect, it is not, like, there are a lot of things that are still wrong with it. It is much past what it used to be, and it like blows my mind a little bit of playing this game and then going back on some games that could have released at this time if they had just put it a little bit more effort in. And like 76 could have broken the mold. Like, that could have been like the frame of what 76 is a massive Fallout experience that you're playing with your friends. Like, that just, like, in and of itself is like, we've never had a Fallout experience where you play with your friends, and if that's a co-op experience where you can make bases and you can fight bosses and you can do all this, like, that could have been great. But then it just flopped so hard. It was just awful. But
yeah, I think it really just kind of boils down to timing. I mean, usually it's just timing, honestly, because they promised 76, and I think this is why they may have needed 25 years for Starfield, which is why I'm really hopeful, because if they screw up Starfield with 25 years...
If they screw up
25 years in the making,
it's over.
A lot
Bethesda
of people
will go bankrupt.
A lot of people are going to be pissed. I don't know that they'll be bankrupt because they're
I also, just for listeners right now, I urge you guys to go watch the developers direct they released. People have been commenting on it. It's like one of the best deep dives, if not the best showcase of a video game out there. It's like, it literally, like, I'm at the 20-minute mark and I'm like, okay, so this is wrapping up soon. I click my thing and I'm like, there's still 20. What are they gonna show us? What could top this? And they still keep going. It's great. It's so good. It's so great.
So I do have a quick question, Ethan, for you. I know we did go to Tears of the Kingdom for a bit there. I do want to ask, credit to Dr. Tulung. By the time leading up to the release of Tears of the Kingdom, were you at all worried about it trying to like overcome the precedent set by Breath of the Wild, or were you looking for a more DLC experience?
I mean, that's a really good question, because it's like, I think one of the biggest complaints that people had is the DLC concept, but also that they had said before going into it that this was originally going to be a DLC, and then they realized that they just had so much content here, so they were like, okay, let's just make our own game. And going through like the first couple trailers as well when that released, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh shit, couple Sky Islands. We got the main Hyrule map, like or Hyrule. Yeah, I said it right. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. There was a lot of like, oh shit, and to kind of answer the question, I had been looking for a new experience. I wanted something that was the bones of Breath of the Wild, but it brought a completely new story, a completely new experience, and like so much more to explore. Because that was the key thing of Breath of the Wild, is you walk out in that first scene and you just look across the map and it's the Skyrim moment. It's like the holy shit, I can go there, there, there. I can look across and I can think of it and I can go there. And that's what Tears of the Kingdom brought, especially with its marketing, is that they only talked about the Sky Islands and they didn't talk about anything that was below the map. And the not to spoil, like I'm not gonna spoil, but once you get below the original map, the entire game changes. It's like it's a completely new experience.
Now you can crucify Koroks.
Yeah,
and now you can send a Korok loaded missile into Ganondorf.
That's another thing. Like the amount of creativity that has come out of this, which is a really good props that we talked about before, is that they used social media so well because they knew that people were going to make creations out of this. And I practically haven't seen any spoilers except for one storyline. And other than that, like it's all just people burning Koroks, making X-wings, like doing like
people have made like
flip over
B-52 stealth bomber. B-52 stealth bomber over Ganondorf.
Some people have created like freaking bokoblin traps where it's just like they just slam it down on like the like little tribes of bokoblins and it just incinerates them.
Oh, goodness.
It's like it's wild. It's
well, actually, that's a good conversation we could get into. There is like, so you had expectations for the game that was going to come from Tears of the Kingdom, based on Breath of the Wild. You had those expectations. That's something that developers have to take into consideration when they're developing a new game. Is like, what's the community thinking at the time? What is the gaming world like? What are they expecting? Are they expecting it like just kind of like, okay, this is the same game but like some new stuff? Cool. Or are they expecting an entirely new experience? That really kind of comes more along with actually, that happens at any game. That happens more in the limelight with games that are sequels to stuff, but new games still have that precedent. Like they still have that like, okay, here are games that like have a similar like location or a similar setting. Is it going to be similar to this? In fact, like I was literally thinking that when I was looking at the Starfield stuff, I was looking at specifically the star fighting stuff, and I was like, okay, is this going to be similar to Elite Dangerous? Because Elite Dangerous was a big as far as like space exploration and space like fighting using starships in space, which was sick, and it was new to me at the time. And No Man's Sky kind of kept that, and I wasn't expecting that. And they had the same feeling to it, although a little bit more arcadey, because it's No Man's Sky and not like a more realistic version of it. But everyone has that. Everybody, no matter who you are, if you're a gamer who's played games before, you're gonna have a precedent for stuff, and devs have to take that into consideration for things, and the business side has to take that into consideration. There's so much going on there when developers are like developing or releasing games, and I think that's a big piece of it. Is like, what are the precedents here? What are people going to be expecting? And if they're not expecting anything, it gets released out of the blue, like, oh wow, okay. But even then, like, for example, I'd never seen FNAF before. I scroll, like whenever you're scrolling over games at Steam, you're like looking at the games, you're like, okay, subconsciously you're thinking, what is this similar to? Maybe you're not thinking that. You're like, okay, this looks interesting, but you might be thinking that because like, okay, what's the experience I've had before that reminds me of this, or what's the like what's the background for it, or something like that. Everybody has that, and I think that's kind of a law of gaming, is like there's a precedent. So to see a game kind of break the mold is it's a difficult task.
Because it's weird because sometimes the expectation becomes that there needs to be a good game rather than just any specific game at all. The groundbreaking expectation, or not groundbreaking, the ground expectation is that most of the market of like just customer experience expects every single game to come out to be of close to perfect quality. And if it's not, then it gets review bombed or whatever. And so I wonder if it's like, and honestly, this is probably exactly what happens. It's like something like Call of Duty. They know that they're gonna get a couple of the like intense reviewers that have been looking for a new and completely like fleshed out COD experience for years. They know that they're gonna get those people who are like, "Oh, this is awful," but then they're gonna get the average like casual gamer who's just like, "Oh, cool, another updated COD map. Boom, we're in." And it's like whether or not they can play it safe or they can take a really big risk and they can do something where like one of us looks at the game and goes, that's not for me. Because like if you have a gamer who does that, you lose a customer instantly. It's so much harder to grab somebody if the first thing that they see is something that they may go, "Oh, we haven't seen that before. I don't know if I trust that. I don't know," and they back off.
Yeah.
And so it's much easier to be like, "Oh, look, like this is like this thing that was really popular. Look at this. This is going to be really cool. So you should try this." And at least it gets tried. If it's not good, then I mean, they still get money for the purchases that they get. So
I think that's especially true with people who are younger. Like people who are older obviously have had that experience. People who are older have had like who like know what's going on. They're like, "Oh, okay." Like me being 20, I know not to buy a Call of Duty ever again because that stuff sucks.
dude, you're 20. Oh my
I know.
god.
That's
I'm
weird, isn't
sorry.
it?
That just like so fucking strange.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
god.
20.
I'm gonna
I
be
know I'm
20
old.
in November, dog.
Oh yeah, it's weird stuff, dude.
I'm
But
gonna
literally,
I'm
legally
still
buy
18.
beer
What the hell
next
is
year.
this?
why are you young? Huh?
Yeah. Dude, I'm turning 19 in a month, okay? I still got a month to go.
Just
All right.
grow up, huh?
Ethan, next year I'm gonna be able to legally buy like beer.
So am
That's
I.
wild to
Wait.
me.
How?
I'll be 21.
Oh, I thought you were 20 right now. And I was like, did I miss it? Did I miss something? What just happened? I knew like that late was at least 20, but holy shit.
But I think that's a big point. Is people who are younger, people who are first getting into it, are gonna go, oh, this is popular. Oh, we're gonna buy this. Oh, new. Oh, Call of Duty. Oh, yay! This is a big title. I'm gonna play this.
Yeah.
And so they have a. I think that's where the safe factor comes in. Like the whole risk versus reward stuff. Like they can play it safe because they know they're gonna get people. Maybe it's going to diminish over time, but it's going to take a long time for people to stop playing COD.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've sort of. I just checked the time. We're already at 58 minutes.
well, how long have we been streaming before that? How long did it take us to start?
Actually, how long?
20, 23.
Dog, what the hell, man? What the hell is this? You silly little goober.
Hey, man, I got to mine 300 more kites by morning.
We can move. Oh, so okay. I want to kind of move us from the breaking the mold thing to just since we've seen all the showcases that just released. There was actually two more, a Ubisoft showcase and a Capcom showcase. I looked a little bit into the Ubisoft showcase. I didn't really take a look at the Capcom one. What do you guys like? What do you think out of all the games right now? Aiden, I'm gonna start with you, so you better be ready, big boy. What do you think has or could, I should say, break the mold in your eyes? Like, what do you think has the what's that word?
Quintessential.
No, when something has the ability to I should have just said ability. I literally just answered my own
Potential,
what
ability.
potential. Yes, that's never mind. That's the word. What games out of the showcases that we've seen do you think has the potential to break the mold in yours?
South
Out
of
of all
Midnight.
of them.
I'm interested to see what
South
the
of
heck they're
Midnight?
gonna do with that. That art style looks like claymation, and it's a beat 'em up. So I'm really curious.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't quite hear that you
Do you
said
have
showcase before, and I already had an answer for just in general of something that came out recently.
Well, shut it.
Well, I was gonna say Pizza Tower. That thing is the third
Oh
highest
yeah.
rated game on Steam.
And this is what I'm saying.
Pizza Tower does not
See,
convince me. I don't know what the
that's what I'm
hell.
saying. Pizza Tower did not break the mold. Pizza Tower broke the community or something. I don't know what's that other like phrasing of that. It's not the mold. It's the other thing. It's the
trend.
popular. Yeah, it broke the trend. That's a good way to put it. Pizza Tower broke the trend. It didn't break the mold because we've seen stuff like that before. I mean, look at Burger Run on Cool Math
Oh,
Games.
it is technically a Wario Land like. It's supposed to be mimicking Wario
Land
Land.
like.
No,
Well, they're not
that's
breaking the
actually
mold.
what it's supposed to be mimicking is Wario Land.
Yeah. And it blew up for no reason. I mean, for good reason. It's a good game. For $20 rather than paying $70 for a COD that sucks.
I'm really tempted to buy it.
Oh,
and play it.
also, hold on. I gotta look up. They had a description of South of Midnight that like almost made me lose it. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. This is straight from Xbox's No, why? Hold on. There was an entire section that I wanted to read. Anyways, Leighton, while I'm looking for this, did you find anything? Actually, sorry, Aiden, do you want to finish up anything? Do you have any more games that you think since the showcase that we talked about?
Let me look back at the episode script with all the like names.
I mean, would you say Lies of P? Do you think could?
I've been playing the demo.
It's not.
It's a very, very faithful recreation of the Dark Souls feel. I am loving it. But it's not breaking the mold. It's still just a Souls-like. Starfield probably will do something insane.
Yeah,
I don't see much of like breaking, like doing something new and interesting. A lot of it is like new games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Gaiden, Star Trek. We've had Star Trek games. Sandland is just a new like
I didn't
strategy
realize
game.
that. I didn't realize that Sandland was a manga. I didn't realize that this is it's all based on a manga. I didn't know that.
For a second, I had just read a manga that looked very similar to it. And I was just like, hold up, that random manga's getting a game? What is this? And then I realized it was not, and I was very sad because I was watching the direct or the IGN. But honestly, none of the stuff there really struck me as like doing something new. It's all like maybe Star Wars Outlaws. Actually, Star Wars an open world like space action game that might do things.
Yeah.
That might be my one.
I also. Sorry, you go. Oh, okay. The what they released about Outlaws is that it's going to be. I mean, they also in the Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. I like to say Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I think that pisses people off.
That's
I'm
why
pretty sure
I
it's
say
Ubisoft. Okay. But it's going to be the action looks very similar to look I almost said Anthem, and I don't think Anthem is the right correlation.
Anthem. I don't know what that is. What is Anthem?
Shut up. Get out of
Anthem
here.
is getting re-released. I heard.
Really?
How? What do you mean? Like
I heard
redone?
they were like picking it back up to try and re-release it.
Why can't they
That's
just
fucking
release
crazy.
Titanfall 3?
I don't.
Yeah,
True.
why are
So true.
like literally why are they picking up Anthem, the thing that flopped so damn hard, when they could make Titanfall 3 and make like millions instantly?
Anthem sucks. Titanfall is amazing. Just make a third one. But no, they canceled development.
They
Moving on.
they canceled it to focus on Apex, not to start Apex. No.
Also, this is the South of Midnight. It's a smaller thing. I saw a larger thing. I just can't find it. But this is straight from their website.
I didn't realize you could buy Anthem for $1.79 on the PlayStation Store at 97% off.
They put it like ridiculous deals. Let me check what it is on Steam right now.
It sucks.
So South of Midnight's description thing is: South of Midnight is a spellbinding third-person action-adventure game set in the American Deep South. Learn an ancient weaving power, explore the Deep South mythos, and confront mysterious creatures in this folk tale for modern times. And so stuff that they've already released about it is that it's going to be exploring like a lot of deep southern like folk tales, and you're going to be like able to use this like weaving combat to defend against them. And it's so interesting to me.
You mean I get Strand?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Sorry.
Dude, actually, hold up. Strand.
Oh god, you started him up. You fucking
hold
look
up.
what you've done.
They released new aspects for Strand, and Strand Titan got like a 10-point combo that for its melee, where you swipe up into the air and then just go like Devil May Cry style, launching like projectiles, and it does a shit ton of damage. But none of you play Titan.
Nope.
Good.
Silly.
But yeah,
Leighton,
I don't know. As far as the only thing that might break the mold, as I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna make that distinction from now on, so you guys are gonna have to suck it. The only game I see that might break the mold, at least on our list here from our previous stream, is probably going to be Star Wars Outlaws. Maybe South of Midnight. Maybe South of Midnight breaks the mold. Like South of Midnight, Star Wars Outlaws, and I think Sandland might, because I don't know what they're gonna do with Sandland. Did
you ever play Fable?
No.
The Fable series?
I have it installed on my Xbox. I could play it.
They on the Xbox showcase, that was another game that people hyped up a lot that I just missed.
Fable?
Yeah, they're releasing a new Fable. And the trailer that they dropped is actually pretty decent on it. It looks really good.
Okay. Wait. Is it like completely new Fable or remastered Fable?
Completely new, I believe. The entire trailer is you'd have to look it up. Hold on, I can send it.
No, it's fine. I'll look it up later.
I'll do that.
For now, I think break the mold. I think it'd be Sandland, Star Wars Outlaws, and South of Midnight. I think those are the ones that might break the mold. As far as break the, how'd you put it, Aiden?
Trend or standard?
Not standard. It was
the trend.
Remember, it was the trend. Thank you. As far as breaking,
that, you little shithead.
Did you? I thought Aiden said it.
He did.
As far as credit to Ethan then. As far as breaking the trend is concerned, because that's where I'm going to be more focused on. It's too bad I can't hear your soundboard. As far as breaking the trend is concerned, I really think Starfield is going to be the big thing. If they can pull it off, it's going to break the trend in one way or another, because it's such a big release. It's either going to be huge profits for Bethesda or huge downfall, because they're either going to do really well or they're going to do really poorly. If they do mid, it's poor.
I need you after this stream to watch the direct. I dropped it in the chat. put it on the side or something while you fucking play that stupid ass galactic bullshit. Okay, it will solidify Starfield as a possible game of the year. I'm not even joking.
I might have to build my computer just because of
Starfield. Yes.
I don't even know how. I don't know where to begin with that stuff. I'll have to ask people.
But also, so I think honestly, breaking the mold, it's similar answers. South of Midnight, Starfield, and I'm not gonna say Outlaws just because I don't know. I have a weird feeling towards it. I'm not fully. It's made by Massive, it's made by Massive, jeez, fucking H. Made by Massive, published by Ubisoft, and I don't know, man. I don't got no trust. I don't know. I'm scared. Some stuff from the Ubisoft trailer, Frontiers of Pandora, got dropped. Like an entire gameplay thing, which that's gonna be huge as well.
It's made by I don't know if it's as well.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I don't know. That game is like
they have a strange record. Ground Control, Dark Conspiracy, Ground Control, Open Exodus, World in Conflict, Just Dance, now. Tom Clancy's The Division and The Division 2.
Oh, that's what they made, Division. Okay, Massive is not terrible, because I actually really did like the Division series, but it's not.
Don't rag on Just Dance like that. Come on,
no,
give it a little
Dance,
credit.
It's Just Dance now. It's the mobile app.
Yeah,
oh, never mind. Rag on it. Kill it with fire.
I want Just Dance From Software edition, where you have to dodge real life arrows as you play.
Dude, I don't even think you know how much money that would make.
An entire room set up for a Just Dance From Software game, where instead of like dancing, grid. You actually have to like do rolls, and you have to actually like parry and move, and you have to like jump back. It's like a huge VR experience, and it's just From Software.
But it's not like popular songs. It's like Elden Rings, like actual Elden Rings style songs. Like
it's Bury the Light. It's Bury the Light. The only thing I know for real. You have to like put yourself in these fights. You'd be like,
oh yeah. Speaking
you walk in and they just like upgrade your legs. Like you can spend action points to upgrade your legs and your arms and stuff. That would be fucking crazy.
Speaking of MGR, I'm like, I've been listening to The Only Thing I Know for Real a little too much. I should go back and play MGR so I can actually go and fight Jetstream Sam myself.
Please,
I go in.
It's so damn fun.
I go in and get mercilessly beaten by whatever random fodder was on like the level that I was beating.
Take an L, man. I was fighting. I went back to that game.
Granted,
and I fought Jetstream Sam.
It was two gorilla bots and three flying enemies.
Okay, maybe
all at once on an elevator, on a confined space elevator.
But anyway,
we could probably jump into our next topic.
I think we should,
or sort of next topic. This one was again, it's a lot of our topics that we come up of are things that we've correlated to like our gaming experience at the moment, or somebody says it to us, or we say it to each other, or something like that. It comes up at some point. But this one was off of.
Or Ethan, all of a sudden goes, "Hey, Layton, what should we talk about today?" And I go, "I don't know, because I'm with my family all day." And he gives me a suggestion. I don't read it, and I say, "Yeah, sure." And then I come into the stream a minute late, and I'm like, "Let's go."
Little bitch. I have never wanted.
And yet I can have such riveting conversation. Deep, riveting conversation when I don't even read what we're going to talk about today. Oh.
Okay. To be fair, though, I also gave you like a 5-minute fucking rundown because I knew Yoask probably did not read entirely or didn't set up notes. So screw you. Anyways, getting into our actual second topic, I played Fallout 76. I've been talking about it a lot this podcast. Sorry, guys, if you just absolutely hate Fallout 76, it's gonna be happening. I'm gonna beat the game with my friends. So, but. It brought up an interesting question of what I kind of talked about before. Is it worth it now to give games a second chance? I know you can, obviously. But that's the thing, is in the future, if Redfall comes out with a massive update and somebody plays it and says, yo, this game is not what it was at first, would we give it that second chance? Because something like No Man's Sky, where No Man's Sky was given a second chance and we actually really enjoyed it, I think at the time No Man's Sky kind of scraped by. I think now AAAs have so much more heat on them that it's like a lot of the conversation is like, why the hell would you make a game to like publish it just to update it, if that makes sense? Like a lot of games are publishing unfinished games, that way they can use the excuse of, hey, we'll fix it later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I wonder what you guys think of that. Like, do you think it's okay to just kind of let them do that, or should it be scrutinized a little bit more?
I think. Actually, Aiden, you go ahead first.
I think it should be scrutinized, but only like if it depends on how bad it is. Like if there's a serviceable game there with a little bit of improvement, I can turn a blind eye. Like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky wasn't buggy. It was buggy, but it was mostly because it was empty. There wasn't much to do, and people got bored. Mm-hmm. And then they, updated it and added things to do. Cyberpunk, it was super glitchy, but it was somewhat playable. And then they updated it, fixed the bugs, and then kind of did like a revamp thing, like, hey, it's back, and everyone did accept it. And because it's like the core concept was there. There was something there. It just didn't have just enough push, which they probably should have not released it when they did, but like it can be overlooked. But something like Battlefield 2042 that's still having issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Anthem is a game that it's not coming back. I'm sorry. They can spend time to work on it. It's not going to come back.
Right, and would you think that they deserve a comeback, or like would you try it if?
I don't think they deserve a comeback. I think they tried to release Anthem, and because they dropped it, they do not.
That's interesting. It does not. I wonder if that's a thing.
I know it might be kind of harsh. It's a little harsh, but it is a AAA publisher.
Yeah.
Like,
there's also differences. I definitely believe of like when a indie developer drops their game for like a couple months because of personal issues, because it's just them, versus a AAA company is like, we're not making enough money on this, bye, and then later some community is like, we want this back, and they're like, free money, and they come back and they revive it, and like I don't think that's it's not ethical for a multitude of reasons.
It's not. I think like I don't know. I think it depends on the game. It depends on the company. It depends on the game. It depends on like if you're an indie dev versus if you're a AAA dev. AAA devs do need the scrutiny. I think that maybe currently we're a little too cautious. Maybe we're a little too the community, I'm saying, as a whole. Maybe we're a little too rigid and a little too, just to the point, like, hey, do this right or you're dead to me. And I think that has to do with like social media and just being able to say what you want pretty incognito. But I think what we need to see is kind of a decline in not AAA titles, not AAA devs. I'm saying a decline in our scrutiny and a decline in our rigidness for a AAA game. And I think what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna see that. I think we're gonna see, depending on like based on the release of the big games, like Starfield comes out, and whatever happens with that happens. If it releases well, I think going down. I think that we're going to start trending down on being rigid and being controlling. And I think it's like a karma system almost. You release a bad game, you get scrutinized. You release a good game, people's like feelings get lightened up. You're like, okay, you have more room to work with, which is why It's like looking at the release of Redfall. Redfall made people go, "What are you doing?" Versus the release of Street Fighter 6. Wow, I was not expecting that. Oh my goodness. Good job, Capcom. Like,
I also,
I don't know.
I do think where we are as well with that is that it's a much more negative, as you were saying, where like even that like little positive, if Street Fighter releases another game afterwards and it's not that great, people are gonna go right back to the we knew this was bad, blah 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 blah. Like, and it's just automatic. And I think you are right. I think we need to kind of lighten our expectations a little bit.
I'm not just saying that we need to. I'm saying because obviously, what are the three of us gonna do? I mean, our community as a whole might be able to do something in the long run, but like, I want to know. I want to kind of figure out the analytics of like the market. Like, where is that gonna go? Like, when are people going to start letting go of caring so much? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder when that's gonna happen. I think it follows the release of big games, really, because Redfall wasn't a big game. Redfall wasn't a big game, and it flopped, and people were mad. But people didn't care about Redfall. People are going to care about Starfield.
Oh yeah.
So
I think
something like that.
76 also was this weird experience last night where me and Nick got on, and it was just a normal, like, we've been playing for 3 days now, and last night was our third day, and at the end of every night Nick rates the night. Like, he'll be like, it's so fucking stupid. He'll be like the first night he was like, yeah, he'll be like, that was a 3 out of 5 session for me. And then the second night he said, no, that was a 2 out of 5, because we basically didn't do anything. We just we walked around looking for jack shit, didn't find anything. It was boring, and I can admit that. Our third night, last night, I was like, I found out this way that you can spend like a little bit of money and just kind of jump everywhere. You can fast travel everywhere. Yeah. And so I was just like, for shits and giggles, I want to go meet people, because that's another thing I found out about Fallout 76 is the community is fantastic. It is the reason why 76 is still alive. Because last night I joined up, and I swear to God, I'm gonna keep it a little PG here. We joined this guy's base. This man was waiting. He made a public game session thing so that people could join him, but we just fast traveled to his character. We get to his character, and he has this like gym, and it is this chained gym in the middle of a golf course, and he has like a bunch of gym equipment, and then right next to it is a silo entrance, so you can like enter another section that he's created. And we enter, and it's this giant like electric chair room, and it's terrifying, and it's like we're in like a Gmod experience.
It's
and
because somebody skipped leg day. Someone skipped leg day.
Me and him join, and this guy is like level 500. Me and Nick are level 10. We're walking around just looking at everything, and we could tell this guy was having a field day with it too, because he's doing a bunch of emotes, and he's like moving a ton, and he's running around like watching us like look at his base, and we're just freaking out. He then hands us 2 serums, and we were like, what is this? And we take it, and it lowers your intelligence score and then makes you jump higher. And we were like, what just happened to us? What the hell? And so, like, it just kept going. Eventually, we get to this area where he just starts dropping entrances to DLC expansions. Like, literally just goes bloop, bloop, bloop. And we don't have access to those outside of, like, buying it. But you can still enter them if you have a extra entity, like, drop a entrance for you. And he literally was, like, just playing God. Like, we're in this middle of this, like, bunker, and he's just going entrance. And anyway, long story short, we exit his base. He tells us to point a certain direction. We turn to the, like, where he points. We turn back, and he's gone. Like, blipped out of existence. And we were like, did we just, like, was that the back rooms? Like, what just happened?
You just met the server admin.
Yeah, and so
you met the one dev who's still on the game.
it was so strange. And we leave that experience. We go to, like, the golf course is connected to a resort. We go to the resort. That's like a big hub of the central story of Fallout, is this area. And so we're like getting missions, and we meet this dude, like just a random player, and he's like, I think he was like level 80 or something. So he'd played for a little bit, but I invite him to the party, and he goes, "Oh, you guys new players?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, like we just started playing. I just convinced him to play." And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, like this is my second character. I was level like fucking something crazy, like 700 on his other character, but it broke." And he's like, "Do you guys want some stuff?" And I went, "Yes, please. Yes, please." He comes up and he just drops like plans and recipes and all kinds of stuff. And he's talking to us, and we're having a blast. And that immediately swapped how I was feeling about Fallout 76. I had a like sort of positive attitude, but just the positivity that this dude brought us and the experience beforehand, that was just hilarious. And then he like brings us to a nuke event where a nuke gets dropped and this creature comes out of the explosion, and it's like level 80 or something. Like we have little it's literally like shooting water gun pistols at this giant fucking dragon monster thing. Like we're not doing anything. And there's level like 1,000s all around us with giant machine guns just barreling into it. But like I had never had an experience like that other than like Destiny, where an entire server had hopped on to fight something, and like these level 1,000s were like shooting the little dudes that were in front of us. And I said to the guy we were playing with, I was like, it kind of just looks like we're happy to be here, because we're like in our little like jumpsuit things, and these guys are all stacked up. But like I rambled for a little bit. Anyways, Fallout 76 is just like one of those games that like blew me away recently with how it came back. Like I gave it a chance.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people should do. I think that's something that should just kind of push. I mean, oh fuck, it's kind of hard to say that, because again, with something like, I think immediately to Redfall or Anthem, and I would never touch those games like a fucking 50-foot pole. I don't care if somebody's paying me to. Like I'm just not doing that.
The thing with 76 is that
if Bethesda, if they did pay us to play Redfall,
if they paid us to play Redfall, okay, we'll play. We'll play Redfall if they pay us to play Redfall. If they pay me to play their game,
I'm just saying, like $2,000 a piece.
Bethesda,
we'll put in
if
200
Austin
hours.
Is yeah. If Austin Games or whatever that studio is called gives us money, then sure, we'll play Redfall, guys. Okay, you'll see a crazy review. 5 stars.
If Todd Howard gave me $50, I'd go play Skyrim for another 100 hours. Okay, so
I think you do that regularly.
I actually haven't played Skyrim in a while, but anyway,
don't remind him he's gonna put in another 100 hours.
No. I'm focused on Deep Rock right now. That shit fun.
It's such a weird fucking game, dog.
It's fun. I don't know how to describe it. It's like you need friends though. You need friends to play it. That's the requirement. You need 3 other dudes. But I think we can probably start wrapping it up a little. As far as just like generally is concerned.
Yeah, we got my Fallout 76 ramble out of the way, so we're good.
I do want to finish on that topic though. Is should we give games a second chance? Again, I think it really depends on the developer. It depends on their initial reactions to stuff that happens to it, and the community's initial reactions. Like Anthem, they dropped it immediately.
Yeah,
it flopped. They dropped it.
As it flopped, it was just like
it disappeared. Yeah, no, I really don't think that game deserves a second chance. I don't think the company deserves a second chance with that game. I do think that 76, Bethesda didn't drop 76 immediately when it flopped. They didn't.
That was kind of
they didn't go.
They bounced right back. They apologized, and then they had their team work on it as hard as they could.
Which was professional. It was a professional thing that a professional development studio should have done in the first place. That is why Anthem makes me mad, is because they were not professional about it. They just dropped it. It doesn't deserve a second chance. 76, I understand, because they were professional about it. They were like, okay, hey, we're sorry. we're working on it right now. We're gonna get all the kinks out because the fans that do play the game, the community that does play 76 and wanted it, they delivered for them.
Right.
They brought it back. And I think there's something to be said there about the quality of a AAA developer that does that. Like Nintendo pisses me off to no end because they're still charging $60 to for games that came out way too long ago to be paying $60 for. They're like, yeah, no, this is $60 worth. No, it isn't.
Some
It's
random fucking PNG Pokemon.
for real. But
Paper Mario, the Origami King.
yeah, some game that requires 10 megabytes to play. But I really think that like I don't know, it depends on the company. It depends on their initial reactions to how the initial stuff went. Like with Cyberpunk, they didn't drop it. They were like, "We're gonna fix it," and then they collaborated with was it Netflix to make the anime?
Yeah, Netflix and Studio
Yeah,
Trigger.
they collabed with Studio Trigger and Netflix to make that anime and bring people back to a game they remade. They deserve the second chance. Humble Games with I know I'm going to the same examples that everybody uses all the time for this kind of thing, but they deserve the second chance. They were an indie game studio that had 12 people working for them for this huge game they promised a lot on and did deliver. They apologized, they hunkered down, and they updated it to the point that they had. They deserve a second chance. Anthem does not. Fuck Anthem.
You know, I have a better example than Anthem. Have you guys been following the Day After drama?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what
a
that is.
zombie game that is the #1 most wishlist game on Steam. It's a like DayZ H1Z1-esque like game that's been in development for a long, long time.
Dude,
It's
DayZ
fake.
is. It's.
The game has been in development for like years now, and people are like super excited. They've been giving like little bits of updates and here and there. The entire game is fake. After delaying it like a month, it was supposed to come back. It was supposed to come out in March, and they delayed it, and then just dropped off the face of the planet.
Yeah, it's not
And
that kind of thing.
they came back and released they released a gameplay trailer because people were like, "Hey, yo, we've been waiting for this for years. Where the fuck is it?" And it was walking simulator. The entire thing was like basic Unity walk.
Oh my god.
And just walking around like a very generic, like desolate city. Like
I really think
if you looked up like desolate city set model on Unity on the Unity store or the Unreal store, that's probably
what's the game called again?
The Day After, I believe, or maybe the day before.
I think a big reason why a lot of these developers get in trouble for this kind of shit
it's the day
is
before.
because they don't tell the truth earlier. If they just told people, they're like, "Hey, we stopped development on this. I'm sorry." If they just told people that, they could move on to bigger, greener pastures that people could get excited about. Just tell the truth. I mean, I know there's probably a whole business side to that kind of stuff, but literally, like, just communicate with people regularly and the truth, not just some fake ass lie about something. Tell the truth. I don't know.
They said that they were going to come out in like March for ages. And it's been getting pushed back and whatever, and then they pushed it back one more time, and then they released like the gameplay trailer because up until this point they had not released any gameplay whatsoever. They released it, and it was the most generic, like poorly designed, like thrown together in Unity thing anyone's ever seen. It's 13 minutes of walking and exploring.
That's rough.
There's like I genuinely don't remember if there's actually any zombies in it. Like the zombie game.
That like
they don't show the shooting in zombies. And then a week ago they released the second official trailer, which is literally just driving a Lamborghini, and it's 30 seconds long.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I just clicked on that. What
Gary's
the fuck?
2 goes hard, guys.
And it's got it. It's apparently going to release in November 10th.
Yes.
I guess we'll see.
But I don't know.
Come out. It is going to be the most polished AAA game ever. It's going to be. It's going to break the mold. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like AAA level from Software, Elden Ring.
This is.
I
think this is this dev's only game.
Oh goodness gracious.
So I would love to keep talking to you guys, but I like really need to go to the bathroom right now. So
we should probably
let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching our show today. We really enjoyed talking to you. Hopefully, you guys will see David in our next episode.
Yes.
But yeah,
hopefully
you can catch us
here. Next episode.
You can catch us wherever you stream podcasts, as always, at the Forlight Podcast, and you can catch us on all social medias at that same tag, FORLIGHT Podcast. So thank you guys.
If you join the Discord, if you if you were listening and you heard something that I particularly said that was like, this guy is really stupid. Tell me I'm dumb. Please.
I agree.
Give me that communication and I can laugh at you and say, suck it. But, yeah. And also, if you're, I know. It's summertime. You're out by the pool. Oh my goodness. Enjoying the water. Enjoying, like, a lake or the ocean.
Doing.
Dude.
Dive down to the bottom of the pool and what's this?
You're starting to make sandcastles. Oh my god, you're digging. Oh, you're digging through
at the pool.
Tongue. No, I mean, yeah, sandcastles at the pool. Tongue. You're just in the dirt in like the back lawn. Tongue. Oh, what's
Mom and Dad are pissed.
There's this treasure chest. There's a key. Prime sub. If you happen to find a Prime sub along your journeys, please. Markiplier doesn't need another.
Imagine
if you want to add your. Need another. Just give me.
XQC just signed a $100 million deal with Kick.
Yeah.
XQC doesn't need a Prime sub. Just
if you if you go back and you listen to that segment that Leighton just did, imagine the Miguel O'Hara music right as he opens up the treasure chest. It just makes everything go so much better.
I almost unmuted you, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it'd be funny to just play it once," and then I realized no copyright claim.
All right. But yeah, that's going to be our show, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for the Twitch followers in our chat.
Check us out on Spotify and our actual podcast, not just Twitch. Don't just watch us. Don't just watch us. Listen to us. Hear us. You miss an episode?
Please.
We're there. You're on a car ride 2 hours long. Ethan really needs to go to the bathroom. You're on a car ride 2 hours.
I swear to God.
You can just pop on the stream. Oh. You can go. Okay. Damn, Ethan, this is kind of funny. Anyway.
But anyways, that is our show. I just want to also because you're gonna edit and you're gonna have to edit this entire section because it's so fucking scrappy.
It's this episode has been all over the place. I don't know if this is ever gonna get edited.
No, you're gonna edit it. This is a great. This is our fucking great. This is a great podcast. I love this one. But
we already have one.
Thank you guys also to just specifically. There's more people in the chat. I just the two kind of active people today, Homeless Kami and Dr. Tulung. I just want to give you guys special thanks because you guys were really cool today. But
this is you guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can catch us next week.
We'll catch you next week. Catch us casting. Bye.